Uh, Good evening to all.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening. I think this much participant will join us. Okay, I am Jayanti Pradhan, Assistant Professor in KCT Anugul. Today we are going to discuss about the special paper that is 034 MA Education course, that is 034. Are you all from that course? Second year course, Educational Technology Special Paper.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So we will proceed. Okay, I'm going to share. Mm, okay, is it visible?
Yes, ma'am. But a white screen only visible.
Okay, one PPT is there. Anyone can say only white screen or this one is visible. The screen PPT is visible. Anyone, please? Now is it visible?
No, ma'am, only the white screen is visible.
Okay, okay. I'm trying again. Okay. Now is it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
It's
ma'am.
visible now.
Okay. Thank you all. So we are going to discuss on MES 034 paper code, that is our designing courseware, isn't it? So it has four blocks. Block 1, again it has 4 units. Block 2 has 4 units. Block 3 has 4 units and block 4 has 2 units. So in total we have 4 blocks in this unit, in this paper code, and total units are 14. So in the sixth class, in for this paper we have six classes. So we will divide these units among these six classes. So today we will discuss regarding the block one, that is design consideration, and from that block we will discuss on first two units, that is course design, basics about course design, and how to design audio and video materials, and the rest of the thing design for digital delivery, designing technology based training of this block will discuss in the next class. And likewise in block 2, that is about the process of developing courseware. There we will discuss about the media courseware, the basics about media courseware, then how to develop coursewares for audio, and how to develop coursewares for video, and developing coursewares for computer. So specifically how to develop coursewares for different medium we'll discuss in block 2, that is in unit 5, 6, 7 and 8. Again, in the third part, after developing the coursewares, when we are implementing the course, when we are going to implement the coursewares, before that we must evaluate the effectiveness, the relevancy of the courseware. So in the unit, in the block 3, in unit 9, 10, 11 and 12, we will discuss regarding the evaluation concept, like evaluation, a broad concept, courseware or program evaluation, then learner evaluation, and techniques and tools for evaluation. And in the last part, that is in the last block, which has 2 units. In that 2 unit, we'll discuss about the management of courseware development and delivery mechanism, uh, which includes management of courseware development and management of delivery or distribution system. So this is all about designing a courseware. So before going to this paper, first we must understand what is courseware. Who can tell me what is courseware? Anybody?
Ma'am, course. Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I think the courseware means that the material that we are using for our course. That means what we use for our study and for the academic purposes.
Okay, thank you. What is your name?
Ma'am, my name is Jitendra Naik, ma'am.
Okay, Jitendra. Jitendra, thank you. Anyone? Anyone, please? Anyone, please? Yes, Jitendra is right, because if we take an example for this IGNO course, MA Education course, also we are referring some course materials. We are referring some print materials. We can also refer some computer based materials, some educational technology or educational technology based activities, videos, audios for this program. So all total or in a sum, we can say that for IGNO, so we are referring a course material that has different learning activities, assessment practices, and different resources what we can use to know, to gather information regarding the course design in this for this IGNO program, or in the for this MA education program. So we can say courseware is a term that combines the words course with software. So when we are discussing about courseware, specifically relates with the technology parts. It is the software that contains educational content, instructions, and instructional strategies, that we are saying the methodology. So in sum, we can say that it is education material which can be a lesson or assessment or activities that is mostly delivered in an electronic format and intended for use in the course of study. So whatever they are in the course, or whatever course is planned, is meant for delivering through a electronic format. So we can say also that it is like a digital textbook or online resource the student can use to learn and study. So when we are discussing about educational technology, so their courseware where when we are going to design, that means we must understand that it is electronic based format. So uh, we are acquainted with the curriculum. We have completed our school education. Now we are in higher education. So in at which level we are, in that level some specific subjects are there, some specific contents are designed for that level. So what are that, and why they are, how the contents are organized, how the contents are decided to be taught in that particular level, what is that? So if we think about that things, if we reflect on the level of education we have completed, then we can say that all the things that we come across at different level, we can say that at primary level, at secondary level, at senior secondary level, or now we are in higher education level, at everywhere we are dealing with some kind of learning experiences. We are acquiring some kind of learning experiences through some content and the experience or the previous experience we have. And that experience, that is not limited to the to the school or to any particular place. So here, the sum total of experience that we are gathering from a institution and outside the institution, that combinedly known as our curriculum, and that curriculum is designed to deliver a course to the students a particular level. And when we are preparing for a electronic course medium or electronic program, then it is known as our courseware. And when we are preparing this curriculum for the student, we must we must consider some of the important factors like the society, because we all know that education has two role. One is two aims. What is one is individual aim, another is societal aim. That means when we are acquiring education of some kind, we are developing personally, and by our development, the society from which we are belongs to, the society also gaining benefit from that. So the society builds institutions like schools and colleges for us to get benefit of education, because it also benefits the society. So when we are framing the curriculum, we must consider what our society wants, what is the need of our society, what we are going to give to our society after getting the particular kind of education. So it must be considered, and it is an important factor when we are going to develop curriculum. Then philosophy. When we are developing some kind of curriculum for the students of at any level, that must based on some kind of philosophy. You know about the schools of philosophy like idealism, naturalism, pragmatism, existentialism, realism. So many kinds of schools of philosophy are there. And when we are designing curriculum or courseware for any program, then we must rely on some kind of philosophy that is relevant for the present time, for the society, and for the individual. Nowadays, if we are saying, if we tell that we are very much practical oriented, then it is related to our school of philosophy like pragmatism. And if we are thinking, uh, we must respect the body, the spirit, the mind, then it must related to the idealism. If we are saying that the student learns better by nurturing the nature, by interacting with the nature freely, without any restriction, without any confined walls, then it lies on naturalism. So whenever we are developing any kind of curriculum, it based on some philosophy. So this is the important factor for developing curriculum. Then knowledge expansion. In this 21st century, we are giving emphasis to ICT or educational technology. Why so? Because we are saying that this 21st century is the digital era, the era of digital learning. So in this digital learning, we are now focusing mostly on the use of ICT, the integration of ICT in different sector in our daily life, and also now we are strengthening the integration of ICT in educational sector. So like this way, when the knowledge expansion is occurring, when the knowledge is expanding to different spheres, we must go with that. We must not be rigid with the knowledge that we have previously. What is written, what is there in the text, we must follow that. We must not change that. That kind of mindset not should, it should not be. We must accept the change. We must update our knowledge with the need of the society, with the changing society, with the upgradation of different research fields. And the most important thing, that is national and state goals. You all must listen about the new education policy that is known as well known as NEP 2020. Here we can say the NEP 2020 focuses on Indian system of education. Then what is that? Indian system of education. Now, the recent policy focuses on the Indian system of education. It wants to strengthen the kind of education that was there during the time of Nalanda and Ujjain University. So now our national goal is to stand and strengthen the education system that was there during the Nalanda and Ujjain time, because that time the education system was famous in the whole world. So again, we want to rooted in the Indian education system. We want to strengthen our culture, our education system. That is the national goal that is represented, that is recommended in the NEP 2020. So whatever national goal is settled, that we must refer that we must focus in our curriculum, because the curriculum should go along with the nation, with the state and the society, for the development of the nation and the society. So if the curriculum should be prepared, then what step should be taken? So first step is your planning for curriculum. The planning for curriculum planning, curriculum implementation, and curriculum evaluation. These three steps are important. In the curriculum planning, there is a systems approach. In a very systematic way, in a step by step way, we can go for planning the curriculum. In this MA education course, you must come across system approach. In which paper you have this is discussed about systems approach? Can anyone tell me? Systemic approach or system approach? Anyone? Before this paper, in the general paper, we have discussed regarding, it is there regarding systemic approach. Anyone please? Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are clearly audible.
Okay, anyone? Okay, link whatever you have studied earlier. That is, when in a systems approach, will go systematically, will go in a system, in a process manner. Like first thing, identification of need. Why we are doing the things like that way? First, the identification of needs. What is the need of the kind of activities? Then what is the need, then why, then how, and lastly evaluation. That are the basic steps in systematic approach. So here in curriculum planning, in the systems approach, the first step is assessment of learners needs. Because in systematic approach or in systems approach, when we are following the steps, first step, we must consider for whom we are preparing the curriculum. The nation may get benefit, the society may get benefit, but after all, for whom we are preparing the curriculum? We are preparing the curriculum for the learners. So At what level, for what level we are preparing the curriculum? What is the learning level of the curriculum? What is the interest of the curriculum? What is the need of the, what is the, for any level, if we consider about the learners, then what is the need of the learner? What is the learning level of the learner? What is the interest area of the learner? So many, these are the attributes that we must consider when we are going to plan a curriculum. So, in the foremost or the first hand, we must assess the learner's need and interest. Then, on the basis of that, we must formulate the objectives. Why we are going to develop the kind of curriculum. Then, when it is clear about the target group, the learner, and it is clear about why we are developing the courseware or the program, then we'll start selecting the learning experiences that we want to provide to the learners. And after selecting, we are organizing the learning experiences or the contents so that it should be in a flow, in an easy flow, and the learner can fit into that. Then course designing, development of course material. Then after organization of learning experiences, we are designing the course, and we are putting all these learning experiences in the course in a systematic way. And the method, the media choice, and integration of media choice with the print material is taken care in this step. After that, course implementation and learner evaluation is done. Then course evaluation is if required. If we want to know the effectiveness of the course, or we want to improve the course, then we can go for course evaluation and replanning of the course. So these are the steps for curriculum planning, how we are planning for a curriculum. So now we'll go point wise. First is learners need assessment. We are assessing the target group here. That means for whom we are preparing the curriculum. Here the target group is whom? The learner. Who is the target here? The learner. So when we are assessing the learner, we must understand why we are going to assess the learner. What is the need of assessing the learner? So this assessment or this need assessment helps to determine appropriate kind of curricular content and learner experiences to be selected and placed in the curriculum. Because if you can understand the target group, the nature of the learner, the need of the learner, the interest area of the learner, and at what level the learner is, what is the learning level of the or achievement level of the learner, then we can choose the appropriate and relevant content and learning experiences for that particular learner population. Then what to assess? If we are going to assess the learners to know or to select appropriate content, then what to assess? So here specifically we can say we should assess the profile like physical, mental, and social characteristics. Because now we can say that in NEP, before that also in 1986 policy, and before that also it is given emphasis on holistic development or all-round development. But again in NEP 2020, it is focused on holistic development. That includes 5 domains, that is physical, that is cognitive, physical, socio-emotional, creativity, and mental. So physical, cognitive, language, socio-emotional, creativity, all these are the domains that must be developed to achieve the holistic development of the learners. So we must assess the learners profile at what state they are, at what state of development they are in. Then along with that, we must assess the attitude and interest of the students. The next part, how to assess. We have understood why to assess, what to assess, then how to assess. So when we are going to assess the learner population, because we are not going to assess only one child, we are going to assess a group of learners or a group of child or group of students of a particular level to know about the relevancy of the content to be delivered. So for that reason, we must conduct a field survey to gather data regarding that we have mentioned in what to assess, that is to gather data regarding the profile of the students, the learning level of the students in five respective domains, the attitude of students, the learning level of students, the interest area of student, the need of the student. So we can plan a survey regarding this. Then then we will gather the data, will organize the data, and will analyze the data to get a confirmed idea or fact about the level of the learners for whom we are going to plan or develop a curriculum. Then after need assessment of the learners, the second step is educational objectives. So now we have understood what kind of learners are there, who is our target group, what is the nature of the target group, by conducting survey and by analyzing the data. Now after that, on the basis of the need and interest and level of the learners or the target group, now we will specify our educational objectives. So when we're formulating the objectives or educational objectives, then we must focus other factors or other areas along with this learner's need. That is the national and social goal, the general aims of education, and major thrust areas of curriculum. Then what it want to say? That means here we want to define from where do the objectives comes from, how we are formulating the objectives, and why we are taking why we are relying on the national and social goal and the aims of education and major thrust areas of curriculum along with the learner's need, because we have assessed the or we have conducted the need assessment. So why again we are considering all these things? So just remember, when we have discussed regarding curriculum, so at that time we have discussed that education has both societal aim and individual aim. And when we are discussing that societal aim, that means national and social goal is important. For that reason, first our policy document is coming. Then after that, you must know that after NEP 2020, our curriculum framework has been changed. That is NCF foundational stage and NCF for school education. Now, after that, we are going to modify the instructional strategies, the content designed in the textbook, the curriculum that is prevailing in the schools, basing on the new education policy that is prepared or that is designed to address the national goal. So the national and social goal is very much important because education is positively related to our national development. So every nation they wants to strengthen their educational system if they want to improve, if they want to grow. So here also we are also focusing on our education system so that we are also revising our national policies, our frameworks to meet the need of the society and the nation. So we can say here the because before that or before this also we know that education plays a role of powerful agent in the changing society. So when we are formulating these educational objectives, it must be relied on national and social goals. Then general aims of education, uh, national goals and objectives. In between, if we say the educational aims of education is coming, like nation sets the goal for whole nation, but specifically what it wants from the education sector. Again, the education set its aim in a broad perspective. What is the aim of education for at the school level? In the NEP 2020 or NPE 1986 policy, National Policy on Education 1986, you can see or you can see that the aims of education are defined there. The national goals are also defined, then educational aims or the aims of education are defined there. What is the particular or the what is the aim of education at that particular time? That is defined, and on the basis of that we are formulating the objectives. Then major thrust areas of curriculum. What should be placed in a curriculum? What should be thrust areas in a curriculum? We all know about the core elements or the core components that is defined by 1986 policy. Core components are there. That core components anyone can spell out? Anyone can spell out the core components? Anyone from you? Policies, I think these things are discussed earlier. Anyone from you? Are you all present?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Anyone can from you can spell out some of the core components. Core components. Okay, you can refer to NPE 1986. There we have there it was mentioned that in our curriculum we must focus on or we must keep the core components, any content that must be related to the core components like history of Indians freedom movement, because after independence we with so much struggle we got the independence, and due to uh, and that is not a small period. So due to the effort of the leaders, freedom fighters, we got independence. So the history of India's freedom movement should be placed in the curriculum. The constitutional obligation, but because we all those who are living in the India, those who are living in these in our nation, we must follow some of the rules and regulation, and also we are demanding on some rights, fundamental rights, and we have some fundamental duties. So we must understand our constitutions, the constitutional values. So the constitutional obligations should be placed in the curriculum. The India's common cultural heritage for what we are feeling proud of that must be placed in the curriculum. Then democracy, secularism, like these things should be placed. Then equalities of sex, protection or environmental pollution, then removal of social barriers, then family norms, that is small family norms, then inculcation of scientific temper that provokes the development in the scientific field. So all these are the part of core component that is defined in NPE 1986. These core components are the thrust areas to be placed in the curriculum that must be reflected in the curriculum in any way, not that these points what I discussed here that should not be in that way, but in any way or any means these things should be reflected in our curriculum. And the last one we have discussed, that is the learner's need. What the learners need, what is the need of the learner, because that we have assessed earlier. So here when we are going to design or when we are going to formulate the educational objectives, we must think about the national and social goal, the general aims of education, the major thrust areas of curriculum, and the learner's real need. Then why we are developing the objectives, what is the need of the educational objectives? Without that, can't we go for the content, can't we deliver the content? Then what is the need, why is it really required? Yes, because the purpose of formulating educational objective is because it indicates the direction to the curriculum. The educational objectives indicates the direction to the curriculum. Whatever content we have selected and organized in a particular subject or a particular course at a particular level, that has some purpose, that has some direction, that follows some kind of direction. So these educational objectives indicates the direction to the curriculum. Then it defines, it selects, and it concretizes the content. The objective tells, if this is the objective, that what kind of content to be placed in the course material. Then the material, media, and method. Here the material means teaching learning resources. The resources that is required, the media that is required, the method to be followed, all things are based on the educational objectives of that particular course area. So if we are clear about the educational objectives, then we can organize the content appropriately. We can select the appropriate and or relevant teaching learning material for delivering the content. We can select and integrate the appropriate media for the coursewares, and we can follow appropriate method to deliver content effectively to satisfy the need of the learners. Then if we are clear about the objectives of any program, they or curriculum, then it will help us to study the effectiveness of the particular program by evaluating the program. So ଆମେ ଯଦି ଜାଣିଛେ କଣ ପାଇଁ ସେ ପ୍ରୋଗ୍ରାମଟା ତିଆରି ହେଇଛି, at the end of or after implementation of the program, we can assess the effectiveness of the program. Yes, जो program टा ଆମେ करले, to what extent it's satisfied or to what extent it addressed the need of the learner. So this is the purpose. These are the purposes for which or for what we have designed the educational objectives. I think you are getting me. Any doubt in this? Any doubt in this part?
Hello.
Can I
Hello.
proceed?
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Madam, please again five domain. What is five domain?
Okay, five domains means when we are telling yes. In earlier also it is there. We are saying that For a child, for the development of child, the child must develop. The for holistic development of the child must develop in 5 domains. One among that is cognitive. That is related in your child psychology paper. I think you must have gone through this. The first one is cognitive domain. Cognitive domain means it is related to the thinking part. Okay. Then language, communication skill. Then socio-emotional domain. Socio-emotional aspect. This is the developmental domain. These are the developmental domains. Okay. One is cognitive, that is related to our brain development or thinking process. The second one is our language, that is related to our communication. The third one is physical and motor development, that is our development of our physical aspect. The fourth one is socio-emotional development. That means what kind of social behavior the particular individual is performing, what is the mental state or emotional state of the particular individual, and how it is developing. So the socio-emotional aspect deals with the social aspect as well as the emotional aspect, the social behavior and emotion. And the fifth one is the creativity and aesthetic. Creativity and aesthetic. So these are the 5 domains that in sum contribute towards holistic development. So nowadays when we are telling that yes, the child, when we want to see development in a child, so we must not focus in one aspect, that is cognitive aspect. We must focus in all these 5 aspects for holistic development of the child. Now I think it is clear to you.
Okay, madam. Okay, madam.
Okay. So next we'll proceed selection of curricular content. So what content? How we are going to select the content? We have assessed the learners. Then we formulated the educational objective. Now we are going to select the content. Then what are the guidelines of selecting the content? So guidelines means content which is of immediate value for the present need and growth of learners may be considered for selection. The present context, we must select the content that is needed for the present context. And then the selected contents should enable the learner to acquire knowledge and apply in their day-to-day life. So whatever content we are selecting, that must have its application in day-to-day life, so that the content will help the child or help the learner to solve the problems that is occurring or that is there in the daily life situations. And the content or subject matter has the potential to contribute to the broad objective of education, it should qualify for the curriculum. Definitely, when we are selecting the content, it must satisfy or it must contribute to the broad objectives of education that focuses or that emphasizes on national goal, that emphasizes on the learner's need, that emphasizes on the aims of education and major thrust areas of the curriculum like the core components. So when we are selecting the content, we must follow these guidelines. Then what should be the criteria of content? First thing is that it must be significant. It must be significant to develop particular learning abilities and skills. Then it must be authentic and genuine. The value that is known as your validity. That means what content we want to deliver, or what material or what learning point we want to introduce at that particular level. The content must so its genuineness towards the content जोटा आमे चाहूचे से जो लर्निंग इनपुट आमे दबाकू चाहूचे से भले कंटेंट आमे चूज करिबा then it must motivate the learner so the criteria is interest it must be based on the interest of the learner so that it can engage it can hold up the learner while the program is going then economy it is the cost is a big factor for any program so we must consider the economy part also that is required for implementation it must be cost effective then appropriateness and balance the content must be appropriate for a particular label it must has correct information and it must not be so easy or so used to or it must be so difficult and complex and abstract so whatever content we are selecting it must not be so easy if it is easy and it is we are used to that we know about that then the learner will not show interest in that content and they will not motivate to and they will be not motivated for that kind of program so we must balance between the easy and difficulty level simple and complexity known and unknown in these things we must keep our balance then learnable whatever content we are selecting that must be understood by the learners and they can easily grasp the content material then feasibility whatever content we are selecting suppose we are selecting for a program of 6 months or a 1 year or 3 months or anything or we are developing a content for 1 year so whatever content we are choosing it must not be heavy for the learner to complete in a particular year or it must not be very less for 1 year course so हमको balance maintain करें we must keep balance between the content we are selecting with respect to time again the staff or the teacher or the person who is going to deliver the content must be feasible for the teacher or the programmer the person who is going to deal with the content and we have discussed the cost effectiveness the cost that is required for transactions should be feasible to run a program so these are the aspects these are the criteria we must consider when we are selecting a particular content for a particular learner population so significance validity interest economy appropriateness balance learnable and feasibility are the important criteria for selecting a curricular component then after selecting the component now we need to organize the component we need to organize the curricular content in a particular course then what kind of approach we must follow so before this mostly traditionally we are following subject centered approach that means there we are emphasizing on the subjects in the curriculum we're not considering the interest of the learner at that time the focus was more relies on the subject there we're thinking in what way the subject should be arranged the difficulty level of the subject is considered then how also it depends on the teacher who will teach how the teacher will find it easy to deliver from chapter to chapter or topic to topic on a day-to-day basis so in that way the topics are arranged or the contents are arranged in the subject centered approach it focuses or emphasizes on how to plan how to design textbook how to design workbook and manual for teachers. All things are based on the subject. That means your subject is important. The topics of the subject is important. And accordingly, in the subject, suppose we are giving more emphasis to mathematics subject. So we are planning how the subject has its importance and what kind of contents we can put into that subject, and how the textbook should be, what kind of questions and activities there should be in the workbook. At that time, we are not thinking about the learners, we are thinking about the um, weightage of the subject and the subject matter. So in this subject approach, the more focus is on subject. And nowadays we are following the learner centered approach because ultimately the learner is going to be benefited from the content, from the curriculum. The curriculum is meant for the learner, then it must hold the interest of the learner. So we are focusing on the experience of the child, need of the experience of the learner, need of the learner, the background of the learner, the exposure the learners get before exposed to the particular program, the learning style of the learner. So all these things we are considering when we are organize the content in a learner centered approach. So when we are developing any curriculum or program, it must be learner centered. Now the contents are organized, and in each content, some topics and subtopics are there. For each topic and subtopic, the objectives, aims, and objectives are defined. In NCF 2005, aims and objectives for each subject area has been defined. You can refer that. In NCF foundational stage and also school education, there also they have defined the aims and objective. So if you refer that things, you can get idea how the aims and objectives are defined. And in higher education, for any program, the aims and objectives are also defined. So on the basis of what the aims and objectives are defined for the content, now we are going to discuss on that. So the aims and objectives for the content that is organized in a course defined by using Bloom taxonomy. I think you know about Bloom taxonomy. Anyone? I think you know about Bloom taxonomy. Anyone, please? Bloom taxonomy. Okay. Are you listening to me? Are you getting me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, yes, madam.
Okay. So, when now contents are there with us for delivery or for transaction. So, before transacting the content, the teacher must know and the student must know or the learner must know what they're going to gain, what kind of outcome they're going to attain, or what learning outcome should be achieved by the learners. For that reason, Bloom has taxonomy, and they have defined the taxonomy in three domains. Before that, we have discussed about the domains of development, developmental domain, that are 5 domains. Here, the domains that is for defining the objectives. The objectives are formulated on the basis of Bloom taxonomy or hierarchy of taxonomy that is maintained by Bloom in 3 domains, that is cognitive, affective, and psychomotor domain. The cognitive domain, that also again I have said at that time, is related to the thinking process. Here also the same. The cognitive domain is related to the thinking process because cognition related to brain development. So cognitive domain is related to thinking process. Affective domain is related to the emotion or the likingness or the attitude. So cognitive domain is the thinking process, affective domain is the attitude, and psychomotor domain is the skill. So these three things, the three domains, we have to formulate objectives for a particular content in these three by using the behave or action verbs of these three domains. So here we can say cognitive domain has again 6 labels. Affective domain as per Bloom taxonomy has 5 labels, and psychomotor domain has 5 labels. Here you can see the pyramid. Which one is broader here in all these three domains? In cognitive domain, which part is in broader, which label is in broader box or broader area in the pyramid? In cognitive domain, which among these 6 label, which label is placed in the broader area of the pyramid? Anyone can say? Broader area. Quote a broad achieve. Which area is broad? And at that broader area, which one is placed? The labels are written in the box, but in the down, which one is there? In the cognitive domain, in the down, which one is there?
Understanding.
Understanding, below that nothing is there?
Remembering.
Yes, remembering is there. So the broader space, the wide space has taken by remembering, then is understanding, then is applying, then is analyzing, then is evaluating, then is creating. Here also in affective domain, that is receiving, responding, valuing, organizing, characterizing. In psychomotor domain, imitation, manipulation, precision, articulation, and naturalization. So the below the broader one represents that many are able to attend these domain earlier. Many of the learners are able to attain these level of the particular domain earlier. Then gradually in a hierarchy, they are attaining the subsequent labels present in the respective domains. That means at the foremost level, the learners are able to gather the information, the facts, the definition, the meaning that are related to remembering stage. If we consider the cognitive domain that has 6 labels: remembering, understanding, applying, analyzing, evaluating, and creating, the remembering stage deals with what the learner is able to remember or recall. So it covers the information, facts, theories, definition, meaning, formulas. These things comes under remembering. Who is the person, what is the place, name of the place, name of the person, what is the meaning of particular word, a definition of particular term in science or mathematics or social science or anything. That comes under this remembering stage, because the child that able to remember these things, they can recall these things. So these things comes under this remembering label of cognitive domain. Then understanding the process, any kind of process. Suppose take an example of photosynthesis or any mathematical operation or the process derivation or any any historical event that occurred, any geography and any feature of a particular geographical place. So anything that needs some kind of explanation, some kind of elaboration, that comes under this understanding. That means a process about a particular area, about a particular topic, about a particular thing comes under this understanding stage. Then remembering, understanding after that, whatever they have understood, whatever they have recalled, now they can able to apply in the daily life. That comes, if the application part comes under the applying label. Then analyzing whatever idea there in a particular material, a particular aspect, that if the individual of the learner able to break and understand, then this comes to the analysis part. That means whatever content is given to, if they can go through that text, go through the particular material and extract the ideas, are able to extract the idea behind the particular activity or particular material or text or any event, then that comes under the analyzing. Evaluating means if you understand something, now we are evaluating another thing with relation to standard. Suppose you know about what a class should like, but suppose you know about a particular method. Yes, this method should be followed in a class, and now you are going to a class and observing. Now you are evaluating, is the class going on the basis of that particular method? Are the teachers are dealing the students by following that particular method or not? So when you are able to evaluate the particular method, if you have concrete idea about the methodology, then only you can evaluate the activity of another person and you can give your suggestion on that. So that things come under evaluation. Suppose any concept, a process a student has understood, about global warming. Now, if another student has prepared a model of global warming, now this student able to say yes, the things that is prepared by the model that is prepared by particular student is right or wrong. So that is evaluating. And creating means by using their own idea, they can able to create a new thing. Likewise, in affective domain, receiving whatever is said in a classroom or by anyone, if a person is receiving, yes, that is the base level, they are listening and receiving, then responding, that means they're showing the likingness towards that, so they are responding. Suppose something you are liking, then you are responding toward that particular thing. Then valuing means you are giving importance to that things, you are valuing the particular things. Then organizing, you are developing some kind of value system in you and organizing that value system, behaving in that way by considering the values. Then characterizing, that means you are inculcating many value systems that you like in yourself. Suppose somebody has likingness towards some particular thing, that means they've acquired the value system related to that particular thing. They have the likingness, their attitude towards that particular thing. So they have developed value system regarding that particular area. Next is your psychomotor domain. Psychomotor domain likewise have 5 domains. So our objective is not to discuss all these objectives or domains, but again I am also giving a brief about this. So in detail, if you want, you can refer the textbooks, because in pedagogy paper you must have in your teaching part or Bloom taxonomy, you must have discussed all these things. So in psychomotor domain, imitation, that means somebody is performing some act and we are imitating that. Manipulation means by our own we are trying to do that particular activity. Precision means we are showing interest and trying to by our own way we are developing some kind of skills and we are performing. Articulation, we are modifying our acts and refining our acts. And naturalization means the particular act comes naturally by a, I mean we are now we are becoming expertise in particular skills, mean that is naturalization. So these are the different levels of different domains. Now we have selected the content, formulated the objective. Now content analysis. In that selection of content, analysis of key concepts. So before going to implement the content must be analyzed. What is placed in the content? So analysis of key concept. What is placed? What kind of concepts and sub-concepts are there in the content? Then formulation of objectives based on this Bloom taxonomy. Then choice of method of teaching. So many methods are there for different kind of subjects. So we must follow the particular method of teaching that is relevant for the particular content delivery. Then, as it is a courseware, we must think about the media to be integrated for transaction. The kind of media to be integrated for transaction of the particular content that we have selected. So, what are the medias? Here, these are the technology based medias and their popular forms like print, project media, audio technology, audio visual technology, computer and telecommunication. These are the technology, and the popular forms are printed materials like books, journals, handbooks, projected medias like slide, transparent sheets, still pictures, film strips, audio technology, that is radio, audio cassettes, telephones, mobile phones, smartphones, we can add that. Then audio visual technology, television, films, cassettes, CD-ROM, DVDs, etc. Computer and telecommunication. Here, by using computer and so many features, we are able to develop the multimedia learning packages, computer software, internet, conferencing facility, video conferencing, all these things. So these are the kind of media or the technology that can assist to choose the media for particular content and integrate that media for delivery of the content. So media integration can be in these five approach, that is integrated approach. That means the main medium is the print medium, like book is there, and here or any text material is there, and here audio and video are integrated for some instance. For some topics we are integrating the audio and videos, that is integrated approach. Main medium is their print medium, and the supportive medium are the integrated. In some instance, we are integrating audio and video for better clarification. Then complementary approach means other media like electronic plays a complementary role of main medium like print medium. Like print medium, other than this print medium, electronic medium plays a complementary role. Then supplementary medium, other media like electronic plays supplementary role of many medium like print medium. That means print medium is there, but it is supplemented by another electronic medium. Then independent approach means usually print medium is not used and the content comprises practical activity independently. There is no print medium, only practical activity is there. And multimedia approach means it judiciously mixes up different mass media components like print is there, graphic or images, shapes are there, animation is there, audio, video. By taking all into one package, we can prepare our multimedia package. So that is multimedia approach. So this is all about our first unit. Then now we'll discuss our second unit. The second unit, that is designing audio and video materials. So in the first unit, we have discussed about the basics of how a curriculum should be planned, what must be emphasized, what are the factors that help us to plan for a curriculum, what is the systematic approach, then how to formulate the education objectives, then how to select the content, how to organize the content, then how to write objectives for the content by following Bloom taxonomy, then how to integrate, how to select the media or choose the media, and how to integrate the media for developing a courseware, a curriculum for a particular learner population. Now the second unit considers about designing audio and video materials. In that, we are going to cover instructional design, planning content for audio video, design consideration for media, designing interactivity, learning attributes of audio and video. The first part is instructional design. Instructional design means the methodology we are going to follow for delivering the content. Okay. In that, first thing is need assessment. What is the need of this instructional design? What is the need of this instructional design? So when we are assessing the need, we must keep on in our mind that we are going, when we are using these courseware or any program, electronic program, then we are going to address a large and heterogeneous groups that may belongs to different age group, classes and religions. So at that stage, we must consider about the two types of needs, that is latent or dormant, that is manifest, that is expressed. So sometimes when we are surveying, we have discussed that we will assess the need by conducting survey. So sometimes when we are surveying, we are just able to collect the manifest needs that is expressed by the particular learner, but sometimes we have to observe the gesture, posture, the activity of the learner to know about the latent or the dormant needs of the particular group, particular target group. So, in the instructional design, first step is the need assessment. We must understand the audience, the target group for whom we are planning the instructional practice or instructional design. Then, selection of topic. So, as this unit discusses on how to design audio and video materials, that means we have selected the content, and in content we have selected the topic to be placed for particular program. Now we are we must select the topic for audio, topic for video, topic for audio video integration, and topic for multimedia. So what kind of topic is there and what kind of media to be media material to be prepared to, or what kind of audio and video materials to be prepared for that kind of topic should be selected for this instructional design. Then defining learning objectives and scope. So on the basis of knowledge enrichment, awareness create for knowledge enrichment, for creating awareness, for training. So on the basis of the need of the learners in this respect, we should formulate the learning objectives. And teamwork. Teamwork means when we are designing the instructional design or when we are planning for the instructional design for a particular group of learner, for delivering particular topics, having particular objectives, a team must work for that. Like subject experts should be there to match the topic with the media. Then producer, who is going to produce the video or audio content for that particular topic. Then script writer will give the direction to the particular type of content to be designed, and the researcher who will confirm that yes, this kind of material will be relevant for the particular group. So these experts in this subject area, media, research, writing scripts, their contribution is there for planning this instructional design. Then planning content for audio video. Now we have to plan content for audio video. So before planning content for audio video, in the first we have designed the instructional design, how to design the instructional practice or methodology. Now planning content for audio video. That means here what kind of content is relevant for what, the things we can get by reviewing the different articles or by reviewing or by collecting data from the field. So here research plays a vital role. So two types of research, that is library research and field research, has relevancy for this aspect. In library research, we can go through the article, the research conducted, the articles published regarding the content and the audio video materials. And from the field also we can collect what kind of content is required to be delivered by using the video or audio media. The research should be conducted, then content development. Content development, here we must follow the basic principles of teaching, because we are going to transact the content or going to transact the curriculum to the learner. So basic principles of teaching to be followed, and components of the specific medium to be considered. What components should be emphasized if we are preparing a audio content? What components should be there if we are preparing a video component or an audio video component? So we must focus on the components. Then use of appropriate examples and illustrations. When we are dealing in the class, we know that use of appropriate examples and illustrations clarifies the doubt of the students, help the student to relate with the daily life situation. So here, when we are planning content for audio and video also, we must select the appropriate examples that should be delivered using audio video. Suppose we want to show, suppose from a school education, from the school textbook I'm taking one content, that is, suppose life processes. We want to show the life processes that is occurring in a human body. So what kind of video? The simulation video we can show to the student to give the real idea about the life process, that is, uh, what kind of any life processes, that is, we can say nutrition, that is circulation, that is transportation. These things, how they're happening in a human body, that can be shown to the students by using the video, simulation video, and that is most relevant. Suppose pumping of heart and circulation of blood, that is pure blood and purified blood and impure blood, how they're moving, what is happening, that things we can represent to the students by using the simulation video, also by showing audio video. Suppose regarding some parliamentary activity, we can develop a documentary. Suppose of a historical place, we are developing a documentation. Then what happened, how it is happened, all these things should be demonstrated in a very specific way by using particular examples and illustration in that particular content to the students. Then designing consideration for media, that what are the elements for audio and video. First is spoken words. What words we're going to speak, or what words to be spoken to explain in the particular audio or video content. What kind of what kind of sound effect should be there for kind of audio and video. At what time, what kind of sound effect, what music to be played. It has particular instance, particular kind of music has to be played if it is required. Wait to be maintained silence, and what visuals and graphics to be placed in that audio, or sorry, that video content. So all these are components that should be designed, that should be planned for designing a media. Then format selection. These are the components, because when you are preparing any kind of audio or video component, something we are saying, some effect is going in the background, some musics we are giving in the background to make the situation to feel like feel the situation, to maintain silence at some place, to observe, to feel the moment, to think, to go into that moment, to place ourselves into that moment. Then visuals and graphics, these are the components of audio and video. By using these components, we can select any format. Suppose talk and discussion is one format for audio or maybe video. Talk means just giving a talk on any topic and discussing on that by asking question to the target group. So here if we go for the content, so what will be the elements for talk and discussion? What elements we can use for talk and discussion format of media for a content? Talk माने किसी ऊपर टॉपिक ऊपर टॉक दबा को कंपोनेंट को मैंने what kind of elements will choose from this? For talk and discussion, what elements we can pick from this to make a audio content? Anyone can say? Anyone?
And spoken word.
Yes, spoken word. Then if required we
And
can
any
give
sound
some
effect.
background music or sound effect, and sometimes we also it is required silence also we can maintain, otherwise sound effect and music. Okay, so that is when you are going for a talk. Then panel discussion, have you seen any panel discussion in TV? Have you seen any panel discussion? Two to three persons are there, they are discussing on a particular topic and giving their inputs, insights that may be same or differ in on the basis of their ideas. Two to three persons, they are discussing on a particular things, but discussing according to their insight. They are putting their thoughts for that particular of discussion. Have you seen that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, for that if you are going to prepare a video content, then what elements will choose from here?
Visual and graphics.
Okay, only visual and graphics, because panel discussion means spoken words will be there or not? Panel discussion by the
Yes,
persons,
ma'am.
they are putting their views, the spoken words will be there. If required we can give sound effect and background music, and silence when two persons are saying how to mute another person, that also we need to take care of it, isn't it? And if any visual or graphics if required in the background to highlight the content that is discussed in the panel, then only we can give the visuals and graphics, otherwise it is not required. Okay, then illustrator lecturer, that means here the lecturer or the talk is based on some kind of illustration or demonstration. So illustration means here graphics and visuals are required. Then drama, that means they are acting upon something, that means background music is must, isn't it? Sound effect is required, isn't it? Sound effect and music along with the spoken word is required or not for this?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so we can have audio of drama, audio content for drama and video also. In audio content drama we can prepare audio content for drama by using the drama format or not? We can prepare audio content by using drama format, isn't it or not? Would you prepare drama using audio content only, no video will be there? We can prepare that kind of.
No, ma'am. Maybe video is required.
No, video is there for drama, but by taking voice of different characters, we can prepare a drama or not?
Yes, ma'am.
Only audio. Podcast is there. Podcast nowadays you are using or not? Drama
Yes.
using or only audios. Okay, so documentaries means here we must give the visuals. Suppose documentary of historical places, any history, Jallianwala Bagh documentary film on Jallianwala Bagh. That means the whole event that is occurred during Jallianwala Bagh is represented through a videography, that is documented. That means the happenings that we are showing through a story to the peoples, that is documentary. Okay, so anything that is happened, we are making document of it and making a video of that to represent in different places. Then features, then magazine, talk show, okay, magazine, quiz, reports, documentations, case study. So many formats are there. These formats, by using these formats, we can prepare our audio content and video content. Magazine, one interesting fact I will say, magazine, radio magazine. There, suppose you will take one concept is our culture of Odisha. So someone can say about our Jagannath Sanskriti. Someone can play music of Jagannath Sanskriti related to any music related to Jagannath Sanskriti, or can give a music of Rath Yatra. Then someone can sing some content. But suppose a whole content is there, a part of that content will represent about a talk about Jagannath Sanskriti, then a small drama of Kalapahada, then a small music or case real music, we can say that is Rath Yatra, then a small poem about or say song about Raja. So like this way, if we place these things in a particular content, that can be a magazine, audio magazine, that can be video magazine, that can be audio magazine. If only audio we are giving, then that is audio magazine, because as in a magazine we are placing different kind of materials, like when we are preparing media content also, different type code, where somewhere we can place story, somewhere we can place song, somewhere we can place some case study or facts, somewhere we can place some drama or story, a theater, okay, what we can say, a drama, content of drama. So in that way, in a particular content we can have 2 to 3 types combinedly, and that is known as your magazine. So in this way, by using these formats, we can, and beyond that also, nowadays many formats we can see when when we'll see the YouTube, we can see for a particular content many types of format we can see there. And we will go for the podcast also, we can see many audio formats are also there nowadays we are using for this content. So by taking the idea from different sphere also, we can prepare our innovative media contents. Then designing consideration for media, the next part is that now we know about the format. Now we are writing for media. So when we are writing the script for media, then it must be accurate, clear, and based on the objective. The rules, the simpler rules should be followed for writing, because suppose one broadcasting will be there, one television program will be there, so we cannot change that, we cannot edit that program. So, and we cannot pause some multimedia, interactive multimedia, that we can pause that again and again we can listen. But video conferencing, or in case of the broadcast programs, there it is placed and we are watching the program in a particular time. So there is very less scope for reviewing or rewinding the fact. So language should be very simple, very accurate, and very clear, so that the audience, the target group, can listen and understand the sense of the content, and the flow of the sentence to be maintained to deliver when delivering the content. And the most important thing is that the same content delivered by many person can deviate by their creativity. So the presentation style should be very creative one. When we are writing for media, we must consider how to deliver the content, how to present that content. So in that way, the content should be written. Then assessment. When we are designing any content, we must assess the effectiveness of the content because we are going to implement that. Then designing interactivity. So content, for whom we are preparing? We are preparing for the learner. So the content and learner interaction should be strengthened. So the content must be prepared like that way the learner will find easy to interact with the content. They will not find any difficulty when they will use the resource. Suppose now you have this course material with you. This is a self-learning package. We are just giving a brief idea about the contents, about the different blocks or the different units in there in the paper. But you are going through the whole content through these print materials or the video content or audio content that we can find in different from different sources. So here what happened, you are the learner and the content is there. So this self learning material should be designed in a way that it must attract the learners to read about the material. It must attract the learner, it must engage the learner, it must be interesting for the learner, so that the content and learner interactivity we can make. And the content learner, the interaction between these two should be strong. So for that reason, the content should be prepared by considering all the components that will motivate the learner to read the content, to listen the content, and to go for the content. Now, second, teacher and learner. If the materials are used by the teachers, then the teacher must think about the learner and how to deal with the learner to deliver the particular content. So here the teacher learner interactivity is important. The interaction between content and learner is important. The interaction between teacher and a learner is important to fulfill the goal or the objective settled by the curriculum. Then learning attributes of audio and video. What learning attributes of audio and video should be there that will help the learner to learn about the content? The first is comprehension. So the content what is prepared or what we are preparing by using the audio and video medias should have the clarity of the learning material. The clarity should be there. The learner should be able to understand the learning material. Then it must be interesting, it must be engaging, it must engage the student throughout the process. Then the teaching style is very important because it helps to to connect the learner with the content. And by that way, if the presentation or the teaching style is perfect, the methodology followed is relevant, then it is easy to attain the objective what is that is defined and that is realistic and that should be achievable. Then what should be the learner role in this? For this, if we are designing any course by using this audio and video content, then that program, if we are broadcasting, then the learner should be informed earlier regarding the broadcasting so that they can go through the study material. Like you, if we are going to broadcast any program, suppose educational technology program, we are going to we are planning to broadcast it. So before that, we must inform you all so that you can go through the study material and you can access the media in time and you can listen to the broadcast for your clarification. So learner role is important because the curriculum, the courseware is designed for the learners. So they must be informed, they must be acquainted with this kind of materials. They must go through the, you must go through the study materials before assessing the media in time. So uh, this is all about our two unit. I have discussed both the units. I think uh, you are getting, you are getting me.
Yes, madam.
Okay, so we have discussed about the two unit because today is the first class. So I have discussed two unit only out of 14 unit, and after this in the consecutive classes or subsequent classes we will discuss about two unit or three unit a day. I hope you understand some of the things that I have discussed, because I don't know you have gone through the study material or not, but when you are attending the class, you must go through the study material so that you can catch the points in a single class. It is difficult to hold your interest for 2 hours and also discuss all the components that is there in the paper in these two units. So if you'll come with your preparation, if you go through the study material before attending the class, then it will be definitely interactive class. You may ask question to me, we may discuss some more points by taking some illustrations. Okay, so any doubt in my class, in today class, any doubt? So anyone can summarize what we have discussed today? How many units we have discussed today?
Two units, ma'am.
Okay, of which paper? Paper name, anyone can say me? What is the name of the paper? What is the code of the paper?
MES 034, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. What is the name of the paper?
Okay.
Designing courseware. Okay, so first unit is the basic about designing courseware. Second one is the audio and video, designing audio video for the course or content. So what you have discussed in the first part, basic part, what we have discussed? Itina Mala, can you please say me?
Ma'am, about the curriculum planning.
Yes. Steps in curriculum planning, that is systematic approach of curriculum planning. Then
Ma'am, domains,
okay. Then how to
all those
set the
domains.
educational objectives. Then how to select the content, how to organize the content by using both subject approach and learner centered approach. Then how to define or formulate the objectives for the content using Bloom taxonomy. Then how to select media for the content and integrate media by following the 5 approaches that we have discussed, like our integrated approach, complementary approach, supplementary approach, then independent approach and multimedia approach. So this is all about your first unit, and in second unit we have discussed how to design the instructional part for audio and video content. Then what are the elements for audio and video component, video content? Then what are the formats of audio video content? Who can say me few of the formats? What are the few of, what are the formats for audio or video component? Sorry, content. Anyone? Jitendra, what are the format like talk show?
Yes, ma'am. Talk and discussion, ma'am.
Yes, one is talk and discussion, then panel discussion. We know about all these things because in the TV program we are seeing they're having panel discussions, and also we are seeing the drama. Then anything else?
Quiz,
Magazine,
demonstrations.
quiz, demonstrations, reports. Thank you. Then these are the format. Okay. After this, we are going for the, after that what we have discussed. After that, what we have discussed? We have selected the content. Then how to deliver that content, and before that, what measures to be taken care, like how to write the script, how to write for the content. In that, we must follow the simple language. The language flow should be there in appropriate way, so that it will be easy for the learner. Then interactivity, the content and learner interaction, and the teacher and learner interaction. Because in a class, or when we are delivering a content, there is interaction between the content material, the teacher and the learner, and it should be strengthened for better clarification. Then attributes of audio and video, that should be taken care. And here the learner role is very important, because we are planning curriculum for the particular learner population. So they must be informed earlier for any kind of audio or video program if you are broadcasting, so that they must go through the study material. They must access the presentation, and they can use the resources for their development. Okay, so these are all about the first two unit of block 1. Any doubt from your side? Otherwise, we will wind up here. Any doubt from your side? Okay. Uh, we will wind up here. Thank you all for your participation, and I hope for next class you come prepared with the rest 2 unit of this paper. You go through the study material, so that I will not speak more. We will interact. We will work on your doubt, because when you will go through the study material, I have prepared these brief notes about these units, but you may have some doubts in some points. So you may point out that we will have discussion on these on the points that you will raise in the class. Otherwise, we'll have some interaction in the class, in the next class. So go through the rest 2 units of block 1, and if possible, the first unit of block 2. We'll go for 2 unit or 3 unit in the next class. If you're comfortable, then we'll go for 3 unit. Otherwise, in the preliminary phase, we'll go for 2 unit. Then in the after next week, then we'll go for 3 unit. Okay. So thank you all. Thank you all participants for your presence and for your participation. Thank you. We'll end.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. थांतु टिके थांतु से कटंतुनी कटिगलेनी थांतु मु रेकॉर्डिंग डाउन करी तो थांतु टिके जॉइन करूची